Hi, it's Joyce from Purple Cats Quilting. Welcome to the sewing room today where we have Elvis is in the building. And I'd like to introduce you to Nancy Watt. Nancy is a friend of mine, amazing quilter, and this is her creation. So she's agreed to come and talk to us about the process that she used to create this. So first of all, we all love Elvis, but why did you pick Elvis?
Because my husband is obsessed with Elvis. We've been lifelong fans of Elvis. We go to everything Elvis. We go to the Busby Festival or Westlock Blue Suede Shoes Festival every year to see all the different Elvises. So it's just been a lifelong love of Elvis.
Well, and this quilt would have to be a work of love too, because you told me how many half-inch finished squares there are. Tell us.
It is definitely a labor of love. There's 18,462 one-inch squares.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. So, tell us about your inspiration for this quilt.
I was inspired by one I seen done by my friend Jocelyn, and hers, I really liked it. So I went looking for a picture that I loved. So I looked for this one right here.
Okay, there you
for
go.
Diamond dot kits, and this is the one that I found that I really liked.
So you could actually make a diamond painting out of this.
Exactly. I've got all the little things if I wanted to do it, but
it's done a breakdown for your quilt though. So let's tell us how you did this.
I took that picture to the print shop in Rimby. And I got them to blow it up. I think it's 200%. I don't know. And I put all the pages together so that I could see what colors I needed. And that's when I went shopping for, I think 28 different colors in there.
So that's really cool, right? So you can see now, it just gives kind of a color chart. And we're going to talk about breaking it down with a pixelated program, any picture that you have to do this. But Nancy's just going to show us her fabrics first.
So, I wrote down all the different colors I needed and then went shopping mostly out of my stash, but a few I had to get at different places, and I changed a few of them along the way too. So it's probably more like 35 different fabrics because I changed different ones.
Cool. And
along the way.
We're going to talk about the product that you used.
Oh.
Because this is the product, it's Quilt Smart product. It's a panel, it's a fusible panel. And we use these for our
when we made our quilts.
Yeah, and actually made some table runners and that kind of stuff with piece fabric.
They're so nice to use. They make everything so much easier to do.
So it's like a interfacing panel that has fusing on.
So
you chose what size? Because there's all different kinds. I've got 2.5 inch here. I've got 2 inch.
This one was done on 2 inch.
2 inch, but you cut your squares
1 inch.
1 inch.
So on the 2 inch panel, which is there, but
this one?
No, this is 1.5.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yep. Let's get the right one out. This one.
This one. Okay. On the 2 inch panel, you cut the squares all 1 inch. So thank goodness I had one of those rulers. What are they?
Oh, a Stripology ruler?
Stripology ruler.
Oh,
otherwise
nice.
it would take forever.
You betcha.
So with the Stripology, you cut all your squares, and then for every 2 inch, you put 4 different squares in there.
4 different colors, or maybe all the same color.
Some of them were the same, but depending, you had to go by the grid, and that was, yeah. And then you iron them all on.
Yeah. And then the technique is that you can just fold this and stitch your 1/4 inch seam all the way along. Then you snip corners.
Every one of these little, every 1 inch you'd have to do a snip.
Yeah.
And then you press it the other direction and sew them again. And it works really good. It's probably the snipping is the step that takes the longest.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we have put a couple of them together here. You said you did that for the face.
Yeah, I did do this for the face because I didn't want to make a seam down the middle of his face. And doing it that way, it would have ended up right in the middle. And just didn't want the added seam there. So you can put them together like this.
Yeah.
And make a bigger one. It's just the rest of the quilt, I did them one panel at a time and then sewed the panels all together.
Okay, so when we come back, we're going to talk about taking a pixelated picture, breaking it down, and making this yourself. So I wanted to just talk about how you could take any picture. There's my little Mr. Bailey. And you can use different programs, Adobe Photoshop. You can actually get little apps on your phone that break it down into pixels. And you can see the difference. It breaks down the picture into squares, very similar to how Nancy had it broken down here. So where did we put that? So her big picture is broken down into little bitty squares. That's called pixelated. You can do that with different pixel programs. So can we see the back of your quilt now?
Oh,
because
definitely.
all those 18,000 little itty
That's
bitty
why
squares.
it weighs a little bit.
Yeah, it does weigh a little bit. We're thinking about how it's going to be quilted here.
Yeah.
It's got such a good feel to it. I don't think you need too much for quilting.
No.
I like how you've added the border, the edging, just to kind of balance
get it
out.
squared.
Yeah. But wow, look at that,
462.
62 little tiny half-inch squares finished. So it's just amazing. What a work of art. Thank you so much for sharing. There's different ways, different videos on how to pixelate and make a quilt. I know our friend Kim did some with Pokemon and Minecraft and things like that. But you can see here that it works really good for just taking any picture and breaking it down, because what you're just trying to do is break up your colors and then decide, like this, where your colors will be placed. So
just the shading of it and everything. Yeah, it actually was fun to do.
And how big did it?
Many hours in the sewing room.
You've done a few weeks of
power
sewing.
Sort of all day long. I started January the 18th.
Ooh, yes.
And I finished about the end of February.
What a great way to spend the winter.
6 weeks.
6 weeks, okay. And you're not quite done yet, because
Oh,
you still
no.
got to do the quilting and the binding. But it is absolutely stunning. When you come up close, you can see all the different colors. When you stand back, you just see the picture, which is really, really powerful. So congratulations on the finish.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming and sharing.
No problem.
Have a great day.
Bye.